Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Bob Walters. This is Locked Up Sports. Week 10 in the NFL gets underway Thursday. Broncos, Raiders, Thursday Night Football, and then straight through as we start to kind of make the turn and you start to look towards the playoffs and you start to see what teams have to do. But around here, there's not going to be any playoffs for the two locals, Jets and Giants. And then Giants stand pat at the deadline. Jets, big trade deadline. Big news is they dump a whole bunch of talent and basically down to bare bones now. And, listen, Sauce Gardner's gone and Quinnen Williams is gone. These are two of your best players. I mean, the Jets, they're not going anywhere. This is something the Jets had to do. It's not a bad, it's a good move, actually. Now, it destroys, the team, whatever they have of a team for the rest of this year. And, Breece Hall, who basically said he wanted to be traded yesterday, it did not get moved. And I don't know why they would do that. I guess you got to keep some kind of talent here just to get you through the rest of this season. But Breece Hall is not coming back. He's a decent running back. He is putting up a decent year. He has good games. He could be good on a good team. And the Chiefs wanted him pretty badly. They made no secret about it. The Chiefs did that. They wanted Breece Hall on their team. And the Jets kind of fumbled that thing around. They did make the two big deals, though. The Sauce Gardner to the Colts. Good trade for the Colts. Listen, they needed that. That's going to help them. They got a chance. The Colts are going for it this year. Daniel Jones and all. So the Jets get 2 first-round picks, 1 in 26, 1 in 27, and a wide receiver, Adonai Mitchell. But listen, the Jets got really stacked up on the draft picks because they also got 2 picks for Quinnen Williams from the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys... This was a trade the Cowboys desperately needed. The Cowboys defense is just god-awful. Can't stop anything. Like, they got to put up 40. They're asking Dak to put up 40 points a game just to win these things. And that's not sustainable. It's not anything that's going to happen if they go, if they do make the playoffs, and they're not going to make any noise. You play defense like the Cowboys do. And now they got Quinnen Williams. They got a defensive lineman. They got a pass rusher. They got a threat to sack the quarterback, the guy that could wreck a game, with one big hit. And they paid for it. Jets got a second-round pick next year in 26, a first-round pick in 27, and they got Maisie Smith, a defensive lineman, which, that's just a filler right there. But listen, the Jets have torn it down now. Okay, so you knew this was coming. You knew these guys like Sauce and Quinnen Williams and Breece Hall were not happy here. Okay, the Jets are 1-7. They're going nowhere. Now they're looking towards the future. This tells you right here, too, that the coach is not going anywhere, right? Aaron Glenn is going to be the coach. I had said that, maybe it gets so bad that they just kind of clean house and get rid of him. It's not going to happen. Now, I'm not saying, I might have considered it. Now it's off the table because he was in on the trade talks. He was in apparently in the GM's office. They're working the phones on the trade talks. So he's their guy. And I get why they do that. I don't know if it's the right move, but we're going to find out, maybe 2-3 years from now. But he bought himself a couple years here. Now, the Jets, listen, the rest of the season is going to be a disaster. Next year is not going to be good either. They know that. They just told you that. Now, what they need to do is 2 weeks ago, before they did this, they sent out, they raised the ticket prices like an absurd amount, like a 30% raise on the season ticket prices. They gotta rescind that. They have to. You can't trade away your best players, be 1-7, basically say we're gonna be no good for the next 2 years, and ask your customers to pay an extra 30% next year. That they additional 30% next year. You can't do that. You can't do that. And if you're listen, if you're a Jets fan and you want to pony up that money, that's your business. But I can't imagine the Jets doing that. And you can't do that to your fans. You have just told your customers, now you've given them a crap product this year. You've just now guaranteed you're going to give them nothing good next year. You can't sell me on the young kids that are coming. You can't sell me that on a 30% increase. Now they had to do this. Okay, it wasn't working with this group. It hasn't worked with this group. They were starting to get, you saw that the Williams and Gardner and Hall, they all wanted out. because it's just a miserable existence right now. When you're on a 1-7 football team, you're going nowhere. You're on contract years. It's a miserable existence. They don't want to be there. So they got rid of him. And they got a good haul back in draft picks. Now, that's for another day. Right now, it's promising, but they're lottery tickets. Like I always say, draft picks are lottery tickets. But they had to get rid of him, and they got a pretty good haul for it. They got 3 1s and a 2. Can't complain with that. That's a lot of draft capital that the Jets have to work with. And that'll be saved for another day as to what they're going to do with that. Do you trade up? There's a million things that they could do. They got to hit on it, though. Because this thing is now, they're 15 years without the playoffs. Okay, they're gonna miss it next year, more than likely. They're gonna miss it the following year, more than likely. That the following year, 2 years from now, is when the Jets are gonna have to make a leap. But that leap, may or may not be the playoffs. And the NFL, and I get it, the NFL is a year-to-year, week-to-week league where things change drastically, and they did last week. I mean, right now at the time, I was just reading the power rankings at the NFL.com, and they got the Seahawks as the number one, as the best team in the NFL. They went into Washington and they blew out the Commanders. I get that, but I don't think the Seahawks are the best team in the NFL. I certainly don't. They wouldn't be number one in my power rankings. They got the Rams at 2, just a major shift. And they got the Colts at 3. If coming into the season, if I told you 10 weeks in or 9 weeks in, it would be the power rank. The best teams in the NFL would be in this order: Seahawks, Rams, Colts. You would have said I'm crazy, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but it is what it is. Obviously, those are three excellent teams that are going places. The Colts loaded up. Colts got themselves a high end. Because Sauce Gardner is going to go back to being the shutdown corner. Okay, and he's not as good. I mean, we did that first year. I think we oversold it a little bit. We were all Darrelle Revis, and we're talking stuff like that. It's not Darrelle Revis. All right, he's not. He's an excellent corner. He can be a shutdown corner. He doesn't get picks. He doesn't really change the game. Listen, you want this in this NFL and this day and age. You want your corners to be ball hawks. You want him to go up and get the ball. You want him to turn the ball over. He doesn't do that. Now, he's a shutdown corner where they don't throw it his way very much, but they've been throwing it his way a little bit more. That first season, he just, whoever he was covering, they just didn't cover. He took away a whole side of the field. And if you're going to be a shutdown, if you're not going to be a corner that's picking the ball off and turning it over and causing fumbles, you are going to have to be that kind of cornerback. Otherwise, you're useless. He's not a great tackler. He's not a bad tackler, but he's not a great tackler. And he shut down a whole side of the field. If you could do that, fine. Then you don't have to pick off balls and stuff and turn the ball over because you're shutting down a whole side of the field. They're going to have to go to the other side. And now I know where they're going. He's been getting beat a couple times this year. He hasn't been great. I think he hasn't been happy. I think this is going to rejuvenate Sauce Gardner. He's going to get into Indianapolis. He's got a team now with a winning record. They're 7-2. They're going. Are they playing the game? Yeah, they're playing the game in Germany. So that's a little rough. So Sauce Gardner goes. He's got to hop on a plane now over to Germany for Sunday's game. So that's a rough start. But listen, I think he's gonna be good for the Colts. I think it's a good pickup for the Colts. They're clearly going for it this year. They see something. They think they have a shot. And Daniel Jones is playing well. He took a little bit of a step back last week, but now they're playing a feisty Atlanta team. But Atlanta finds they're a good team, but they find every way to lose. Last week they lost. They came back. They missed the extra point. I mean, they're 3-5, so this is their last gasp right here, going up against the Colts. And listen, we'll get into that. We're gonna get into the games later. But as far as the Jets go, listen, this is what they had to do, and I know. If you're a Jets fan, a lot of Jets fans are liking the deal. Don't be. It's not a guarantee. Nothing's a guarantee. The Jets have screwed up things easier than a couple draft picks before. If anybody could screw up this haul that they got in draft picks, it's the Jets. Now, if they're smart about it and they get the right players, they're gonna need a quarterback because Justin Fields is not it, and they still haven't named the quarterback for this week. We're now on, it's now Wednesday. And I unless he did it in the last hour or so, Aaron Glenn is not named the starting quarterback for this week yet. I would imagine it's going to be Fields, but I mean, Fields is obviously just, and the Jets played well. Don't forget they're coming off a win. They're coming off of Fields' best game where Woody went out there and trashed him during the week, basically laid it all at the quarterback's feet. This is why we stink. We don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball. And he kind of let the coach off, and then, Fields comes out and has his best game as a Jet and leads them back, a big comeback against the Cincinnati team, which, I mean, talk about a bad defense. They make the Dallas defense look fantastic. They make the Dallas defense look like the 85 Bears. Because they just, I mean, that game against last week that they played, I mean, my God, against the Bears. But again, so the Jets unload salary, they tear it down. It's now a complete redo. It's a rebuild. It's going to be this year's bad, next year's bad. The following year will be the year you want to see the step taken. But now, I mean, you're asking, and they give the fans a 30% raise in the ticket prices. You're in 16 years. You're going to be next year 17 years without a playoff game, let alone not a home playoff game, a playoff game. And you're going to ask these guys, these fans, and your customers to pay another 30% after they win what? What are they going to? I mean, they're not going to win many more games this year. Maybe one, maybe two games, right? I mean, because now they just lost some of their best players. Breece Hall, their best player now, Breece Hall, is not happy. He asked for a trade yesterday, and then today woke up today, and he's still on the Jets. So he's not exactly going to be, a rah-rah, go-get-him type of guy the rest of the season. He's not happy. He's not going to be here next year. Free agent. He's clearly going to leave. He's not going to re-sign. He was wearing, a shirt that said "Trade me." He was putting out things online about. I mean, and they had the deal. The Colts were dying to get him, and I'm sorry, the Chiefs were dying to get him, and the Jets fumbled that thing around like they always do. But they did make two deals that were decently good. As far as the game this weekend, listen, it's home. It's against Cleveland. Cleveland 2-6. The Jets 1-7. I mean, I guess if it's a nice day, you go out there, right? But they're gonna have an empty stadium the rest of the way. They're gonna get booed off the field when they play bad, and they're gonna play bad because they're a bad team. And then Woody Johnson is going to sit there and send the vouchers to the ticket holders asking for another 30%, a 30% increase in your tickets for next year. We just traded off our best players. We got draft picks. We're 1-7. We're terrible. Our best player doesn't want to be here. And you're going to have to pay 30% more to come to the games next year. That's ballsy right there. And I hope, and the Jets and fans will pay it. I get it. There's no protest. But that's pretty ballsy. And that's not the right thing to do. He just 2 weeks ago, he sent out these things. Told the season ticket holders, just letting you know, it's going to be 30% more next year. What? Forget it. You can't even sell these tickets. I bet if I went on StubHub right now, I could get tickets for $25, probably $25, $30 for the Jets game on Sunday. Jets, Cleveland. I mean, it's not exactly, game of the week material. Let's see. I'm going to go on. I'm going to see what the Jets tickets are going for, because they can't be going for anything. And these people, and they're going to go for even less next year, because they're going to be bad next year. And you think you want these people to pay 30% more when they're already not getting face value if they decide to sell them anyway. So let's see. You can get in the building at the Jets game. Let's see. $40. $40. There's seats available all over the place. It's a million seats. 2,000 seats for sale. $40 you get in the game. And I guarantee by Sunday morning, Saturday night, it's going to be $20. And you're only at week 10. Just first week of November. Just past Election Day. So, Jets, listen, do the right thing. Woody Johnson doesn't need the money. Don't charge them another 30% to come to your games, because I'm telling you, you're gonna lose ticket sales, season ticket holders. So Jets, like I said, good moves. It was moves they had to make. I'm not trashing the moves that you're going to be bad. You got rid of all your good players. You had to get rid of them because it didn't work. It didn't work with this group. You thought you might have had something if the quarterback played well. The quarterback stinks. Already had a good game against Cincinnati, but the quarterback overall through 8 games, terrible. The defense can't stop anybody. They have bad coaching. They doubled down on the coach with this thing, but so he's there. He's your guy. Brett was right about that. I'll have to give him credit. But now in a league where it's so week to week, it's not even year to year. It's week to week. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, the Seahawks were nowhere. They weren't in really the discussion of top teams in the NFL. Today, they're power rankings number 1 by NFL.com. And the Jets are just the only consistent thing about the NFL is the Jets are bad. Jets are bad. Everybody except the Jets. The Jets are consistently bad. The Giants too. 10 years now. They had one good year. So that does it for us. Hopefully we can get things going. Hopefully we have a football season one of these years. Because the Knicks are playing okay. But that's for another show. So that does it for us. Don't forget, rate, review, and subscribe. Every little bit helps. Remember, on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Join our social medias. We got TikTok. We got Facebook group. We got X. We're all over the place. Instagram, wherever you go on the social media, you can find us. We'll talk to you guys later in the weekend. That does it for me. I'm Bob Walters from the Brian Gunzel Studios. See ya.